As you were going through those cards, you were answering those cards, you were thinking about those cards, however you decided to do the cards, what did you discover about you as this process of looking at those cards was going on? Yes, please.
Well, I discovered we all have very similar outlooks. We're all interested in things, but my one card that I had was, when did you first encounter someone who was racially or culturally different? And I think growing up in Sheboygan, and
were in Sheboygan, which seems like it's a diversity mecca, I'm surprised. You experienced those things, but it didn't really sink in until you got into the military.
Right.
So what do you think was different about being in the military than all your growing up, seeing diversity or seeing these differences?
I think the main thing was knowing that no matter what skin color you were, no matter what culture you came from, like, you had each other's backs. And that's just kind of, we all bleed red. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's interesting because a number of the things that I pull in terms of my training come directly from the military. And I think there's something to that, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. All right? We'll talk about that in just a bit. Other things that people discovered about themselves as you were going through the cards. Yes, please.
I think I realized from the very first question that I was going to have to be transparent. So this was an opportunity for me to be able to share and be vulnerable and be very honest with the answer because the question was that direct. Yep.
So that there would be a bit of transparency that would need to happen to answer these questions and participate with other folks at your table.
Yeah.
Are there other places that we sometimes need to be transparent but aren't? In terms of working in an educational setting or as an educational leader in the community. What are some of the barriers to transparency? Yes, please.
I've recently become the diversity director for STEM in Catholic College. I've been a little bit surprised at, I have to be careful about what I talk about because I alienate people so quickly. That's been a surprise. So I can't really be transparent about what I really think about things or people won't continue to have the conversation with me.
Okay, so you can't be transparent about the conversations you want to have with people. We're going to come back to that.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to the young lady. Yes, you had your hand up as well.
Oh, I think I was going to say something kind of similar to that. Sometimes it's like, what is the repercussions of this going to be? What is the backlash going to be? Is this going to be effective? Is this going to be efficient? Is there another way I can go about this? I don't know, stuff like that. And being vulnerable and being transparent and open and honest.
Overthinking about
Retaliation.
the retaliation, the consequences of our stuff, right? Yeah, she said that. Mary, is it Mary or Mary Ann?
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann said that's exactly what she meant. Yes.
Now, I was going to take this a little bit different direction. This actually kind of this really brought this forward from me based on the questions we asked was, like or not, you have biases that you have around your answers or your responses based on your own background, your own culture, your experiences, and such like that. I mean, when I realized in answering some of the questions, how much I was coming at it from the standpoint of a white woman raised in a suburban environment, but middle-aged, context. So, like my life experiences, a lot of times I come at it from that experience of still being like a first-time woman in situations, still in you know what I mean? And that filtered a lot of kind of some of my own discussion around it, whereas I couldn't put myself in positions of a male or among community member as readily as much as I try.
So it's really interesting. So as you can see, I do public speaking kind of stuff, right? I'm a professor at Bethel University in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul. So when I first started doing this stuff, I went to my mentor because I also did comedy. So I did, have you ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? So that's the kind of comedy that I did, right? So I don't necessarily tell jokes, but we had group interactions and all that kind of stuff, improv, blah, blah, blah. So Robin Williams was like, the man to be, because he was the ultimate in improv, right? So I went to my mentor, the guy who was teaching me and coaching me, and I had listened to this guy named Tony Robbins. Anyone ever heard of Tony Robbins, right? Or Les Brown? You heard of Les Brown? And I'm going to go way back. This guy named Zig Ziglar. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of. Okay, so that's going way back. So I wanted to be a professional speaker like those guys, right? So I said to my coach, I said, "Can you help me do that?" And he said, "Yes, I can help you do that." He said, I'll schedule you in for a coaching session. It'll be $350. I'm like, okay. I happen to have about $350 in my account. So I go sit down with him, I'm visiting with him, and we go over life stuff. So we're talking about life stuff. And the first hour goes by. And now we're into the second hour. And I'm very nervous about this because I wrote him a check for $350. So now we're into the second hour, which means the expectation would be that there'd be another $350. And so finally, after we're doing all this catching up and talking about life stuff, I get to the point. I said, I just want to know, I really enjoyed this talk. I just paid you $350. I just want to know if you can help me. And he looks at me and he says, Andre, I can't help you. So now my heart really sinks. And I'm like, what is going on? I just paid this dude $350. I'm now in the second hour. He's going to expect another $350. And he says he can't help me. And I said, well, why can't you help me? He said, look, do you want to be good? I said, yes. He said, do you want to be polished? I said, yes. He said, I can get you polished, and I can get you good, but people won't trust you. He said, would you rather be polished and good, or authentic and trusted? I said, I'll take authentic and trusted. He did not ask me for the other $350. I do wonder if I should get my $350 back, because that was like a 2-minute answer, right? So a lot of times the things that gets in our way of being authentic and transparent is us. It's us. That kid running. Authentic and transparent. Right? She's not overthinking about her ego. She's not thinking about what can be lost. She can't think about all these other things. And so when we think about how do we diversify our portfolio, it's extremely important that we get us out of the way. Where I come from is important, but it's not who I am. Where I come from is important, but it's not who I am. I was in Head Start. I grew up as a poor kid in poverty. My parents fell in love and got married as sophomores in college. You can imagine sophomores in college are not prepared. Well, at least my parents weren't prepared to raise a family off that income and with that knowledge that they had. And so we ended up in and out of poverty. But they were smart. They did something that I imagine most good parents do. They put me in the hands of people who could give me what they could not. They expanded my portfolio. And so when we talk about this idea of education, coming into these great walls, what we're doing is we're talking about expanding their portfolio. Right? And so those cards are really to have you look at yourself and say, what are some of the limitations of what I've grown up with? What are some ways that I'm thinking? And here's the kicker for that. You only need to change those things when they're no longer working for you. If they're working for you, if how you were raised is working for you, if how you were thinking is working for you, stick with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in many cases, for many of us, we want different things oftentimes than how we were raised. Or we want to take how we were raised to the next level. And so that diversification of our portfolio is important. So we're going to talk about these in the short time that I have. We're going to try to get through most of these things. So at the top of your handout, you'll see this phrase or this word, illusion of knowledge. And what I want you to do is I want you to draw a bicycle. I want you to draw a bicycle. Everyone has either seen a bicycle or ridden a bicycle, yes? All right. But you just have, I don't have any more handouts, but if you can do it right on a piece of paper. So just draw a bicycle. Give you a couple more seconds. And stop. So I want you to share your bicycle with people at your table. I want you to share your bicycle with people at your table. So what did you notice about your bicycle or your neighbor's bicycle? Was there anything that you noticed about them? What was that? So yours were more detailed than your neighbors? Oh, your neighbors were more detailed than yours? Okay. Other folks, what did you notice? There are things you forgot about your bicycle. Like the pedals. Anyone that has bicycles missing pedals, raise your hand. All right, okay. Anybody have a bicycle missing a chain? So everybody knows what a bicycle is like, right? But not everyone can draw a bicycle. And so sometimes we operate in the world with this illusion of knowledge, that everything that is common to me in my experience should be common and the same to other people in their experience, which is not true. And so we have to diversify our portfolio and recognize that other people see the world differently than how we see it because they come from a different context. And that does not make it right, but it does mean that we need to pay attention to that. All right? We need to pay attention to that. So what is it that people are after? And I would suggest to you that all human beings, no matter where they come from, are after three things. They are looking for significance, they are looking for belonging, and they are looking for safety. Significance says that I'm a person with purpose and power. I was born for a reason. My life is not an accident. Belonging says that I am in relationships with people who understand my significance. I would imagine that your friends, the people you would like to be around you, understand your significance and your power oftentimes more than your own family. Significance. And then lastly, we're looking for safety. How can we be physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually safe to be in relationships with people who understand our significance? Now, I don't know about these parts, but there's a phenomenon that happens in the Twin Cities called sagging. And I don't know if you know what that is, but that's where the pants don't quite meet the waist. They sit either at the hips or slightly below them. I don't know if you've seen that, right? Yeah. I don't know what that's called in this area of the country, but it's called sagging where I come from. And so why is it that kids are sagging? And when I try to answer that question, I go back to these three things. Because while that trend was starting, there was another trend starting at the same time. By a group called Crisscross. They made you jump. Okay, some of you are looking at me like I have no idea what crisscross is. You missed the best part of life. So Crisscross, they wore their clothes backwards. Right? That was their thing. And so while the kids were sagging, half the kids were sagging, the other half were wearing their clothes backwards. And why is it that wearing your clothes backwards did not last? Because it did not have safety, significance, and belonging to the majority of folks. And so a lot of times we go to condemn behaviors without recognizing that those behaviors serve a purpose. So sagging serves a purpose. Joining gangs serves a purpose. Coming to school serves a purpose. Advancing your career serves a purpose. And so if we can understand that everyone is trying to get safety, significance, and belonging, but they may be trying to get it differently, then we can start to diversify our portfolio. So So here's some truth about human beings. First, human beings can learn, change, and grow. You'll see this right in your handout. I believe it's on at number 4. Human beings can learn, change, and grow. That's why we're in this business. That's why we're leaders of the community, because we understand this principle. We know that people do what they think works even when what? Even when it doesn't work. Right? You'll hear this a lot. I do my best work under pressure. No, you don't. But you think you do. Right? But why do people think that they do? Why do they think they do their best work under pressure? I love last minute deadlines. I stayed up all night just to do this paper. Why do you think people do that? Because suddenly they have no motivation. What else? They've never tried a different approach. They have more ideas.
Following old school.
Following old school. They like to procrastinate, which is a lie. It's just a choice not to do what you really should be doing, right? Yes. They get to their goals.
For one time, so they figure, well, it has to work every time. It's the whole
This must
versus causing.
Right. They do it because they believe that it works, because it's worked in the past. And what we know about human beings is if we believe that it's worked in the past, we'll keep doing it, even if it's not doing results, because we remember that one time it did work. Right? That one time it did work. Next is that all human behavior is goal-directed, and its goal is directed towards these 3 things: safety, significance, and belonging. And that attitude is a reaction to a goal. Anyone remember being a teenager or have a teenager in your life? Right? When teenagers get what they want, how do they interact with the world? They're happy, they're delightful, you can talk to them. Right? Have you ever had a teenager or remember being a teenager and being denied something? What was your attitude like? Right? What's that? Oh, you can't say that word here? Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right? So attitude is not an emotional response, but it is attached to goal achievement. So if you have a student in your classroom, or you are a student in a classroom, or you have a coworker that has a bad attitude, what are they telling you? That they don't like you? Yes. That they're miserable, they don't like you. They're not getting their way. What does the paper say? They're not getting their goals. Goals. So sometimes we can get caught up in people's emotions, but in fact, what we need to be focusing on is the goal. What is the goal? Which is why I love how the military operates in terms of looking at diversity. It will take anybody. It almost took me. Because they're focused on moving people towards what? A common goal. A common goal. So those are important things to recognize. Also, that's an important thing to realize. So let's open up your handout. So let's go to, I think it's letter D. Let's go to letter D. What is a comfort zone? What is a comfort zone? So just talk about that at your table just for about a minute or so. What is a comfort zone? What is a comfort zone? What is a comfort zone? So let's bring it back. So, what is the purpose of a comfort zone? What is the purpose of a comfort zone? Yes, please. To be safe. All right. What else? What else is So to be safe,
Yourself.
to be yourself. Yes, sir.
Kind of say what else? Bring the best out of you.
To bring the best of you, all of you, into a place where you're safe to be, safe to have safety, significance, and belonging, right? That is your comfort zone. When can a comfort zone become a prison? When can a comfort zone become a prison?
You're not challenged?
When you're not challenged. Yes.
When you no longer have a desire for self-improvement.
When you no longer have a desire of self-improvement, you had your defense. Say it in your own words.
Well, how should I say that?
When
When you can't reach your goals.
you can't reach your goals.
You're not willing to change.
When you're not willing to change. I really like your answer, right? When your goals say, this is what I want to do, but your comfort zone says, that's not what we do. So my family is from Dayton, Ohio, and I love them. I love them, and again, my parents did the best they could with what they had to make sure I was in the hands of people who could put me in other places. But in talking to my relatives, they are amazed at the things that I do. Amazed. Like I went to Egypt, and some of my cousins said, how did you get to Egypt? I said, I bought a ticket. They're like, yeah, no, we know you bought a ticket. We're not, but how did you get there? I said, I got a passport. And they were like, we can get passport. Yes, you can get a passport, right? You can, but because of their comfort zone, that seemed like such a foreign idea to them that they could actually travel and have a life outside of the existence that they know. And so I would suggest to you that comfort zone becomes a prison when you're not able to reach your goals, when the people you surround yourself with limit your ability to engage with the world in ways that you know that your heart and your spirit is saying, we can do this. So how do we get over our comfort zone? How do we diversify our portfolio? So we'll talk about that. Let's go down to letter E. I'm sorry, I said D before, but let's go down to letter E. Now I want you to look at those three pictures, and what do you notice in those three pictures? Or what stands out for you as you look at those three pictures? It's equality, equity, and liberation, or inclusion. What stands out for you in those pictures?
Inclusion is the one that moves barriers and connects it all together.
Inclusion is the one that actually removes barriers. Yes, please. Equality is not as good as it looks.
And they're not the same.
And they're not the same. The nuance between equality and equity is important to realize, but more important than those two is recognizing what inclusion is, which is the elimination of barriers, bureaucracies, artificial hoops or hurdles that people have to get over to get access to stuff that belongs to them. Right? So we know that equality is making sure everything is fair and everybody gets the same thing. We know that equity is making sure that people get what they need. And that inclusion is removing those barriers, is unnecessary barriers. I am not an anarchist. I am not I don't thrive in chaos. I believe that there needs to be barriers and standards, but when they're unnecessary, those are when we have to change those things. And so what is a bureaucrat? What is a bureaucrat? Or what's a bureaucracy?
A lot of regulations and sometimes barriers and a lot of paperwork.
So regulations, paperwork, barriers.
Hierarchy.
It's a hierarchy. Set up by who? By bureaucrats. Right? So our political system is called a what? What are we called?
Democracy.
Right. So more, yes.
Constitutional republic.
We are a constitutional republic that presents itself as a representative democracy. Right? A representative democracy, which is important because we elect people who are democratic in their pursuits, right? We don't all get to vote on everything, right? So that would be a pure democracy. I forgot my point. And there was that. Going through that whole exercise, I forgot my point. At any rate, we recognize that bureaucrats are self-appointed. They create systems that benefit themselves, even if they don't benefit the people who use the systems, right? So that's important for us to recognize and to think about. We all like to think that we want to be inclusive. We want to be engaging. And what I would suggest is that we have to look at these artificial barriers that prevent us from actually being and doing those things. And so right at letter F, what I'd like for you to do is I want you to write down 5 famous or influential people. No, let's not do 5, let's do 3. 3 influential or famous people in each of those categories. In each of those categories. Just give me about 30 more seconds. All right, stop. So first of all, I don't believe in embarrassing people. I don't believe in trying to put people in a position to embarrass themselves. So what I will tell you is that there's a QR code there, which is a quick response code. So if you go to Google Play Store or App Store and download a scanner, you can scan for the answers to those questions. So I will not leave you without the answers, right? But as you were going through those questions, listing the 3 famous or influential people in each of those categories, what did you notice about you? You don't have much. Please raise your hand if you can say you don't have much. Because I don't want him to feel like he's by himself because he's not, right? Yeah, you giggled when I said that. What were you thinking? You weren't thinking anything? Okay, cool. What else did you notice about you as you were filling that out? You had your hand up. Said, you have more from people outside of your own race than you do your own. Okay. Cool. What other things did people notice?
I was the opposite.
It was the opposite for you. That you had a lot about your own race, but not necessarily about other races.
Yeah.
All right? Yes.
Everybody I had was a celebrity.
Everyone that you had was a celebrity.
Everyday, like no everyday people are on my list, and I'm sure there are everyday people who are on my list.
Cool. Yes, David.
I was thinking about my history classes.
You were thinking about your history classes. What were you thinking about?
The influential people from history who made a difference in America.
Okay, so you thought about the influential people in history that made a difference in America. Right? Are there people on that list that might not have been taught to you in your K-12 institutions? Yeah. So what I want to leave you with this last bit. because I think I have just a couple of minutes. I want us to think about, in terms of opening up ourselves, are we homogeneous or heterogeneous in our workplaces? Are our environments heterogeneous or homogeneous? Are we monocultural or intercultural? Intercultural meaning that there are more than one culture. Are we proactive or reactive? Are we divesting or investing as it relates to our students? And finally, this is the punch card, if you will. That 3-year-old girl that you saw in the photo, how do I have diversity conversations with her? How do I teach her about diversity? I show her. I show her. So in every aspect of your life, your lip service is great, but I won't know that there is a change until I see it. I have that list that I gave you of those groups. I'm looking for friends in each one of those categories. It may seem arbitrary, it may seem disingenuous, but if I don't pay attention to it, I'll never see it, and I won't be able to show her. My name is Koen. I can't wait to see you after lunch. Have a great day.
So 2 things. One, in your folder, you'll see a breakout session survey. Please complete that and leave it in the center of your table. And then if you did not sign in, I don't have you down on my attendance sheet. Please let me check you off here. Thank you.
Sorry, this is the first time. My son had surgery today while I was doing just the tonsils. Oh, yeah, but I had to call and check it out.
Yeah, there's mine right there. And yeah, she's 3. It changes everything.
Yeah, that was the dope point. You know, someone asked me a question at my session. You know, what stories do you tell your son so that he can know stuff? Let me get back to what I realized is like I'm trying to live it. You know what I'm saying? And to model that piece.
We went, so I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Otherwise, it's like the parent that's smoking and telling the kid don't smoke.
Yeah, don't smoke. So Philando Castillo, there were a number of community gatherings, and I brought the little girl. My wife and I, she made a poster. We did a thing because if I don't show, I could talk all day, but if I don't show her these things, how do these things, she won't, or somebody else will try to tell her, and it's not what we have in our family.
Right.
So. No.
Where are you staying at?
So I live in Twin Cities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in St. Paul.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you in Milwaukee or?
So I've been living in Chicago the last 10 years. Okay. But I'm back in Madison. Some family members that have been a little sick and got me some stuff. Okay. So I'm back where I got my alma mater, man.
Okay. You went to UW?
Yeah, for my undergrad.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
So I'm gonna let you chop it up with some folks, but maybe during lunch we can.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Emily, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's going on? I'm just gonna grab my card. I'm feeling a little cold here.
Yeah, it's kind of in between whether it's like you don't feel like bringing a coat, but sometimes it's necessary.
Well, I get hot when I'm walking around talking and stuff, but then I cool down. I get a little. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. You guys want to just sit here for a second?
I'm one of the board members for LTC.
Oh,
so.
Awesome. And it's Lois?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
I was wondering if you ever heard
Excuse
of the
me,
book,
1 second.
Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
I have heard of it. I haven't read into it.
It's a very short book.
Yeah.
It's like
I have to write it down. Yeah.
800 pages. It's actually a lot of the things that you were talking about a little bit, but it's more self-awareness with spirituality kind of thing. But it goes to type of Indian that had learned about living in like a dream state almost to get your goals. It's really quite an interesting.
And his name is Juan Luis?
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Don Miguel Luis?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but no one's recommended it to me.
Normally, I'm not into reading books like
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time, but it's a nice short book, and it really changed my perspective on a lot of things. So.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You want to sit down over here, Emily? All right. So So you're saying that you're kind of getting in and speaking a little bit?
Yes,
and stuff?
definitely. I actually have a ministry website, so
Oh,
for
that's
teens
super
and young
cool.
adults, so kind of semi-similar to what you've
Oh,
done.
that's
I've been
great.
able to present at different workshops and stuff.
Oh,
so.
that's very cool.
Yeah, so I just always enjoy hearing any tips anybody might have.
Yeah.
Further along the journey.
Sure. So do you have any questions in particular, or just?
I'm not in particular, just
Yeah.
general.
So questions about like just like tips on
Yeah,
like presenting.
presentation tips, just
Yeah.
anything in general.
Okay.